From the dispatch from the year 1993, new line of bowling ball appears to be worth cost. There's a new breed of bowling ball on the market that has been revolutionizing the game. They are not cheap, and there are certain conditions on which their potential is negated, but the family of reactive resin urethane bowling balls is the hottest item in pro shops today. Reactive resin balls range in price from $125 to $150, placing them at the upper level of bowling ball prices. When used by the right person under the right conditions, the investment is probably worthwhile. The key to the whole thing is that a reactive resin ball just cannot be a bowler's only ball, said Don Johnson, proprietor of Pro Shops on Moline 23rd Avenue and at Town & Country Lanes, Rock Island. Most casual bowlers usually only carry one, maybe two balls with them. Most of the reactive resin balls are owned by the higher average bowlers, ones that have several balls with them when they bowl, Johnson added. What are the lane conditions necessary for a bowler to get the best results from a reactive resin ball? They work best when the back end of the lane is fairly dry, but when the head of the lane has a fair amount of oil, was the answer given by Johnson. A similar response was voiced by Bob Neff, whose Bowler's Corner Pro Shop is located at Highland Park Bowl. They, that is the reactive resin balls, are awesome when they work, Neff stated, because they don't hook at all in the oil, but do hook very sharply when they get to the dry area. Analyzing that statement tells us that the reactive resin balls need oil up front, but fairly dry at the back end of the lane. It also says that a reactive resin ball should not be used when the heads are dry or when oil has been carried far down the lanes. At this time, there are 14 reactive resin balls on the market, manufactured by 10 companies. It all started with the purple Excalibur ball made by a firm called New Line. The purple Excalibur ball is still very popular, both locally and with the professional bowlers, both male and female. In recent local league action, Moline's Chuck Chouette fired a 792 series, including a 299 game, while on the adjacent pair of lanes, Jerry Milan was authoring a 290 line and 778 series. Both men were using the Excalibur. Even so, there are those whose bowling style would not reap much benefit from the reactive resin balls. Those balls carry overreactiveness to a new level, Neff said. The hard crankers don't get much benefit from the reactive resin balls. Johnson agrees, saying, they are a hindrance to the big hook bowlers, but for the down and in shooters, they are great if the lane conditions are right. On the Pro Tour, reactive resin balls received their first notoriety in the first PBA tournament of 1992 when Mark McDowell used the Excalibur to win the AC Delco Classic. Use of various reactive resin balls by PBA and LPBT members has escalated ever since. The pro bowlers call them cheater balls because the reaction gotten at the back end of the lane seems much greater than the amount of effort put into the shot by the bowler. One firm, ASU Incorporated, even went so far as to name their reactive resin ball Cheetah. The onslaught of big scores tossed by bowlers using reactive resin balls does not mean that they will eventually replace all other balls now on the market. There are 4 other balls that I believe perform nearly as well, but that are not reactive resin urethane balls, Johnson said. They are the Blue Hammer, the Burgundy Hammer, the Sumo, and the Turbo. Neff, while not disagreeing, picked one that he felt was superior of the 4 named by Johnson. I think the Blue Hammer is probably the best bowling ball ever made, he emphasized. If you think your game could possibly benefit from using a reactive resin urethane ball, visit your favorite pro shop and spend some time in learning the various pluses and minuses of that type of ball before deciding if you should buy one. Purchasing a reactive resin ball could be compared to the day when the U.S. Army went from single shot to repeating rifles. The benefits obtained from the new equipment depended upon the accuracy of the shooter. That's still true with bowling balls.